Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, the team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames, they gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And hello, everyone. Welcome inside a Wednesday episode of YSN Live. I'm Anthony Hartwig, and we thank you so much for taking a part of your middle of the afternoon and spending it with us. And why you keep wanting to do that, we'll never know, but we appreciate it. It is December 17th, 2025, the only one you're ever going to get. So we try to make it the best one that we possibly can. And you know what Wednesdays are. Wednesdays are all about wrestling. It is Wrestling Wednesdays with my good friend, the sidecar on Wednesdays, the guru in wrestling, the one that has single-handedly raised the bar for local wrestling coverage, Gary Altizer.
What's up, Anthony? How are
Gary,
you?
It's been a week. Like we were talking before the show. It has been a week. We have plenty to talk about of things that went down since the last time we talked. Let's start with what happened on Friday afternoon at noon. I should say at noon. Liberty Lakeview Wrestling at noon went off with a banger. YSN was there live. DJ Oakley and Rob Johnson had the broadcast. Don't know if you had any chance to check in on it at all, but man, what an event. I need more wrestling at noon, Gary.
Yeah, it's an interesting, definitely an interesting way to view the sport. I actually got the chance to talk to Lakeview's coach, Ryan. I know that he's excited. He's just starting that program up. He told me that they have over 90 kids from K to 12 involved in their wrestling program. And for a first-year program, that's amazing. Those middle of the day assembly matches are really a fun thing to watch, and I did not get to watch it. I didn't see how it went off, but I'm sure that those Lakeview fans, that they had something, it was an eye-opener for them, and they got something to see, and were introduced to the sport in a big way.
One thing we know, because Liberty has done basketball at noon last year, and they know how to pull this off. Derpy in the comments, we appreciate you, Derp. They know how to do it, and Liberty obviously is a historic wrestling program. I don't think there's anyone better to kind of thrust wrestling at noon into the limelight than a program like Liberty. Gary, you've been around long enough to know what Liberty means to wrestling in the area. Do you think there's many better programs that could pull this off rather than the Leopards?
I know they do a great job of getting the people out to watch their kids wrestle. They've got a tradition of getting that community hyped up. I know that when they want a big crowd and when they want people to come, they figure out ways to get the people hyped up. I know in the past they've given T-shirts away to every single person that walked through the door. They know how to market their team, and they know how to get people to come in, and it's a very inviting place. I know when I was coaching the junior high I was coaching junior high and high school at the same time. We would go to the junior high tournament there in Liberty, and they are some of the best hosts around. They got a great parent organization there. So that's definitely a great place to go if you're going to have an assembly match and you want to have an exciting atmosphere, they definitely know how to make it something that you'll remember.
So we've had Liberty guys on before too, and their wrestlers are top notch, not just on the mats but off the mat as well. And maybe this year, who knows, we might get some more Liberty wrestlers on Wrestling Wednesday here. You never know. You never know. You got to stay tuned. We have a new guest every week. This week, in about 30 minutes, actually about 20 minutes, we're going into Hanoverton. Sophomore standout on the girls' side, Taylor Simmons, will be joining us. She was a first place finisher in their first tournament at Boardman. They go to, I believe, Hubbard this weekend as a girls team at United. So not a shocker that United girls are doing good. I feel like they had a good girls program even before the girls wrestling was sanctioned by the OHSAA.
Yeah, that's a school that's done a great job with their girls. They had interest. Their interest was through the roof before anybody else's. If you ask me, they were the ones that really, I think, set the stage for local, the local girls teams. They had a bunch of weight classes filled. They had state placers from day one when the state started the girls state tournament, when it started with the Coaches Association and then eventually went to the OHSAA. I think they've had state placers every single year. So that's definitely if you're a girl wrestler and you want to be somewhere where they really know how to build a team, build a program, that's definitely the place to be.
Taylor Simmons on the sophomore side is doing amazing things. They're headlined by Austin Brown, who's been doing it for a while. We hope to have her on the show a little bit later on in the season because we need to talk to her as well. But when you look at United and their boys team was at the Western Reserve, which we'll talk about in a minute in the big picture. Their boys team, not for the faint of heart either. They're kicking off to a really good year.
Yeah, they were at the Western Reserve tournament where we were. It was the first annual Rumble Reserve, and United's boys team came in second. They were in second place the week before at Malvern. So they've got a nice team that they're putting together. They fill a lot of weight classes, and they got quality wrestlers at the weight classes that they're filling. So we've talked about this in the past. A coach that had won probably 10 or 12 state titles as a team, I heard him say once that your best wrestlers don't win you tournaments, it's everybody else. And what he meant by that was your best wrestlers are always going to win and they're always going to score you points. But if you can put a team together where everybody's chipping in and everybody's scoring points, you're going to have good things come to you. And that seems to be what it is with United. They've got good wrestlers, and then they got wrestlers chipping in everywhere else at all the weights, and those points add up. And you bring home team trophies when you do that, and they've been able to do that here the first 2 weeks.
Proof of the pudding. Let's go over the Eagles' results over the weekend because they only, like you said, they had their best wrestler show up and do his thing in the one first place finish they had, and that was Will Gunderson. He finished first. So only first place they had, but they had a bunch of second place in Carter Lucas, Hunter Casto, Payne Graybill, Carson Roller. Also, all of them finished second. Third place finish from Rowan Kelly. Third place finish from Mason Everly, and then the fourth place finish from Michael Mostdoler. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wrestlers that finish at least third place. That'll win you more tournaments than not.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a great example. They had just one champion out of the 14 weight classes, but was able to come into second place as a team. There it is. It's a testament that this is looked at as an individual sport. When you're on your mat, you are by yourself. But when you want to talk about the team, what the team can accomplish, everybody needs to chip in, just like any other sport in high school. And when everybody does, good things happen. If you can get kids at every single weight class to even just win one match, you're going to do good things. So you mix in the one champion, and then they had several second places. Getting to the finals, there's a big bonus points when you get to the finals. Even if you don't get first place, you score a lot of points for your team by just getting to the finals. And then getting third, we talked about this last week. Getting third, you have to show a lot of heart to get to third because usually your heart's broken in the semifinals. A lot of times it's, the four finalists, you get to the semis and you're losing before you get into the finals. So you don't even have a chance at first place. You got to show a lot of heart that, hey, you're going to shake off that loss and come back and win there and get back to the third and fourth place spot and able to win there. So, good job to them. Coach Leitz is doing a great job. Took over for Coach Beaumarriage, and they haven't missed a beat there. And their girls are doing good. So really, everything humming and united.
Preaching to the choir because you're obviously our resident wrestling guru, but that's why the wrestling room is so important to a program because yes, your individual focus when when you're talking about your match, but if the team isn't built up, then you won't go win tournaments.
Right, absolutely right. For me personally, was one of my focuses. I wanted us to focus on the team, and supporting each other, being there for each other, looking at every match as it matters, not only to who's wrestling, but to everybody else. You should be cheering your team on. You should be, huddled around the mats, cheering your team on, screaming for your teammate. If you do those things, then when it's their turn to go from the side of the mat to get on the mat and wrestle, they're going to feel that same energy and take that with them. I think that it matters a lot, and I think this sport is a lot more of a team sport than people give it credit for.
So United finished his second. Gary, put you on the spot a little bit, but do you know who won the Western Reserve? Who won this weekend?
Yeah, Canfield took first place. Canfield United, and then Western Reserve came in third. Yeah, it was a competitive tournament. It was nice to have a new tournament thrown in to the area this second week here of the season. It was open in the local area, especially in the YSN family. There weren't a lot of tournaments going on. So Western Reserve came in and filled out that spot there and made it made it a spot that people in the local area can go to. We were off the last 2 years in that weekend, so I think it's great that they added it in. We're happy to be there. Hope it continues.
Let's grade Western Reserve. How did they do in hosting their first tournament? What were some things that you saw that you really liked, and some things that they really knocked out of the park?
The guys that they've got running that team, the coaches that they've got, they've been around the sport for a long time, so they knew what they were doing. They had things set up. We had 3 mats set up. You go to some small school tournaments and there's only 2 mats set up, and when that happens, it turns into a long day. But they had 3 mats set up. They had their coaches' room taken care of. They had an app to run the tournament on that the fans could watch and see when their kid was about to wrestle. They fed the coaches well. They had a big open area for the kids to go in and eat or stretch out if they needed to. It went off. They ran the tournament well. They did a good job overall.
All right, we have to grade the coaches' room, the food. That's the most important part of the tournament, right? Where do you rank the food for Western Reserve?
No, they get a solid B. They did a good job. They fed us breakfast, and then they had this really nice nacho spread with pulled pork and with pulled chicken and cheese, and they had stuff to make sandwiches with. They did a good job. They've been in many wrestling rooms, so they know. You keep the coaches happy and full, They'll be back. They'll be back. So,
how many teams total were there?
I think there were about 14 or so off the top of my head, something like that.
Hey, Western
job
Reserve.
Marketing, getting that out. There were some teams there I'd never seen before. Normandy Bay was there.
Wow.
There was a lot of schools. There was local schools, big schools, small schools, and then schools from outside of the area. So I thought it was a good mix, and we got to see some kids that we've not seen before and probably won't see again. And seeing a new team like Lakeview in there was nice to see Coach Ryan there with his team. I thought it was overall good for us to just be there, get this new competition, be in a new gym that we hadn't been in before.
Right.
And just trying to see new things. When you see new wrestlers, you see new moves, you see new positions. You see kids that wrestle a certain way. Each team kind of has their own identity on how they wrestle. So it's good to be exposed to different teams. Sometimes you can get worn down if everybody's going to the same tournaments, you're seeing the same kids all the time. You're not going to grow as much as of a wrestler if you don't, broaden your horizons on your opponents. And when you get to the postseason, that's when it will affect you the most.
Let's have a recap from Wellsville's side. How did you guys do down there? What were some things that you saw as bright spots and positives from your team?
Hey, we battled again. My kids were fighting every second on the mat. We had 6 placers. I'm proud that they continued to battle, and we continue to get wins, even from our rookies. The guys that are new to the sport, they're going out and they're winning matches for us. They're We're filling more and more weight classes every week as our alpha tests allow us to the kids to drop down or move around. We got a kid in the finals, Lee Lamont, second time has been in the finals. And then I had 3/4, a 5th, and a 7th. So we're right where we need to be. We picked off where we left off last time. And, sometimes the breaks go your way and sometimes they don't in these tight matches. We had a lot of good things that happened the first week. We lost a couple close matches this week that, could have went either way. But the fact that we're in these matches late in the match just tells me where we need to be. And things, I think, are still progressing. We're just right where we need to be. And I'm not sure how else to put it, Anth, but I'm happy as a coach.
Some more results that came in over the weekend. We have results sent to us from West Branch. We appreciate their support in getting coverage out there. They had a third-place finish in the Marlington event. It was called the Marlington Duels, but they had a 2-day event at Marlington. They were 6-2 overall. They got wins over Lake, Caldwell, Salem, the Fitch Blue Team, and Shaw. Those scores for Lake, it was 63-12, Caldwell 59-14, Girard 45-30, Salem 57-19, Fitch 45-30, and Shaw 50-16. The Warriors' 2 losses came to West Geauga and Sheridan, so nothing to hang your heads on when you go 6-2 on a 2-day event, especially when you're beating teams like Fitch. Big name team. You beat your rival Salem. West Branch is pretty happy about that. Anytime they can put the Quakers down. Some individuals that had good days. Actually, they didn't send in individuals. Excuse me. They just have the team scores. Let's see what's up next for them. The Warriors will have the Eastern EBC action. They will open league play at Minerva on Thursday. So tomorrow at Minerva, that's when West Branch will open up EBC play. We've talked about West Branch every year. Just going to give their program a little bit of limelight. Really good wrestling program, 6-2 over the weekend at Marlington, like we said. But Gary, I don't think it's any surprise that West Branch is having another good year. I mean, they're always kind of where they're supposed to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They've always been a great football or wrestling program. Their football team is usually pretty good, and that translates pretty well. They've always been known for their heavier weights. They've done really well there. Them going 6-2 is no surprise. When you have a good football program, usually the coaches there are saying, "Hey, we want you wrestling in the off season to keep their linemen in shape and to keep just to keep their players grinding throughout the year." I think that school probably, I would imagine those two sports have a good relationship because they seem to correlate, when the football team's really good, the wrestling team's really good, and vice versa. So, yeah, no surprise there. And, wrestling 8 matches, 8 duels like that, that's a lot. That's a grind. But to come out on top in 6 of them, that's a pretty good weekend.
On the girls' side for West Branch, they finished 3rd at the Coventry Commons Clash on Friday. They had 3 wrestlers in the championship match: Brooklyn Stauffer, Grace Bates, and Trista Swanson. All were finished 2nd place in the championship match. Abigail Benner and Whitney Yeagley each finished 3rd in their consolation match. You just told us how hard 3rd place is to get. Abby Janosik, Kaylee Miller, Layla Shin, Suri Myers, and Eve Falstad all finished 6th. So the Warriors had a good showing in Coventry. That's up in near the Akron kind of area. The Warriors will travel to Minerva like the boys on Thursday. So both boys and girls at Minerva on Thursday on the West Branch side. Congratulations to the Warriors on a good weekend. And once again, thank you so much for sending in results that we can shout you guys out. That segues into what we were talking about before the show. We want to kind of let Gary vent a little bit because, as we know, we want to cover wrestling a lot, and I think there's a lot of things that YSN and local media has done well to up their wrestling coverage. Chris Colucci doing a great job on live broadcasts and getting some interviews outside of our show. But there is some frustration with some of these tournaments and how they get results in and trying to find how these teams are doing. Gary, you have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, as far as the tournaments go, if you're not familiar with the sport, most tournaments are ran on software online on a website. Bombs Page and Track Wrestling seem to be the two most popular. They're pretty good sites. But beyond those, if you were to go to with a different website, it can be tough to find the results. If you go, there are some websites out there where if you use them one week, the results are there, but then the next week they write over that information with a new tournament, so you can't go back and look at the results. And not only that, but the duels. It's really tough to get duel results for teams. Wrestling's not like basketball with Max Preps, where you can just go click on a schedule in the state of Ohio and you can see who they played and what the score was at bare minimum, and even get stats on there sometimes. There is no central location for dual results in Ohio, so it can be really hard. Anthony, when you sit in my chair and Anthony's throwing these questions at me every 5 seconds, I'm like, bro, I don't know. I tried to find these answers. I can't find them anywhere. Send those scores in. Send them to Anthony. Send them to the Facebook page and through Messenger. You can find me on social media. Anybody from YSN, if you want to send them in, we'd love to talk about them. But we would have to dig through, newspaper articles if the newspaper decided to post them. And if you haven't used up your 3 articles for the day to look and see what the scores were or what the context of that match was. So it can be tough to find out the context and the scores on those matches. And they sometimes are the most compelling things of the week, because if you get rivalries in there and it can come down to a last match or two, that you're talking about a really great atmosphere there.
So basically, the bottom line is we want to do, even like we say every day, we want to get better. We think we're doing a pretty good job with wrestling coverage, but there's always room to improvement. But help us help you. Send in the results, and we would love to talk about your wrestlers and how they're doing in their duels throughout the week, especially the duels. That like Gary said, that's the hardest one to get, because there's not a centralized hub to go and get the duel results. The tournament results, we can do a good job, especially if they're using like Gary said, Bomb Page or Track Wrestling. Pretty easy to kind of gather up how teams did, but when it comes to the duels during the week, really hard, and that's an important part of your season. When it comes down to conference standings and what duels are really important. Like one of the things, like when we get later on in the season, where we decide to send Chris for duels could be important based on, hey, not just team prestige, but how's this team doing in duels? If we knew the results of duels past and we knew this was a really big one to get to, it might be easier to not let, really big matches fall through the cracks when we talk about our live coverage. So, anything you can do can help. And I know a lot of wrestling coaches and fans watch Wrestling Wednesday, whether it be live with us, or you can obviously go and watch it on delay on any of our social media pages, because these shows never leave the airways. So YSN Live from today and from last week, and actually every Wrestling Wednesday that we've ever done, can still be going and found on YouTube. So I know a lot of people watch. If you're out there, if you're a wrestling fan, if you want more wrestling coverage, you want us to talk about more wrestlers, more teams, just shoot us some info. Shoot us some results, whether it be on the YSN Messenger. If you have Gary's contact personally, I don't want to blow up Gary's phone. I don't want to talk for him, but if you want to send him Messenger results, I'm not going to give out his phone number. We're not going to do that to you, Gary. I don't think you want that smoke. But you can send them to him. You can send them to me if you're a personal friend of mine on Facebook. Email it to info@ysnlive.com. Email me personally. So there's a lot of ways that you can send in results. We'd love to get them. And I know there are schools that kind of post them on social, but that's hard to keep up with too, because our algorithm doesn't show us everything. And sometimes they get lost in the shuffle. So the surest way to get us results is to send them directly to us. And we would appreciate that. Once again, there are a couple of schools to do it, and we appreciate that. We have something to talk about on the recap section of the show, but we like more. We want to talk about more because there's so many good wrestlers in this area, so many good wrestling teams. We want more. Gary, let's kind of preview what we have. A lot to preview, actually, because this is the last Wrestling Wednesday until the new year. So what are some things that are going to be happening around the next couple of weeks? I know Christmas time is a really slow week for not just wrestling, but also other sports like basketball, there's not a ton going on during the Christmas break. A couple of tournaments here and there. Gary, what are some big things happening before the new year that we need to talk about before we come back on January 7th? I think is the next Wednesday we'll be back.
I know. So I got ahead of myself last week. I thought that Hopple tournament was this past Saturday. It's actually this coming Saturday on the 20th. So that tournament will be up this coming week. This coming Saturday. That's always a great one. We talked about that last week. And then I know myself, our team, and there'll be a lot of YSN teams at the Waterloo D3 Classic. It's a tournament that Waterloo has put on probably for the last 10 years or so, where it's all Division III teams, and they make a 2-day event out of it. I think it's a really great idea, the way that they run it. They put you into pools. Each weight class has 4 pools. And of those 4 pools, you wrestle everybody in your pool, and the kids with the 2 best records in each pool make an 8-man bracket in the gold bracket in one gym on the second day. And then everybody else that didn't make it to the gold bracket goes into a silver bracket in the other gym. So those kids all get to wrestle each other in a bracket tournament in one gym. The kids that did good the first day get to wrestle in the gold bracket in another gym. And then the finals are after the silver bracket is done. Everybody moves to the one gym to watch the finals for that gold bracket. And you get a lot of matches in the 2 days, and you get a lot of competitive matches, because you do well, you're going to be with other kids that did well that first day. And if you weren't able to get in the top 2, you get to be wrestling other kids who didn't get in the top 2 in their bracket, in their pool bracket. So it's a great tournament. Those are the ones that that I know of, and that I'm definitely looking forward to watching the results of.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I am not the resident wrestling guru. Isn't the Top Gun that week after Christmas?
It's coming up.
Has it
Yes,
been?
I don't know the exact date. That's coming up as well. These next couple weeks, things definitely ramp up as far as the competition goes.
Right.
And then when January gets here, it just seems like things, every single week that we got the conference tournaments coming up, the league tournaments coming up after that. Then once you hit that first or second week of February, everything ends. So I can't believe we're talking about that, but really in the next 6 to 7 weeks, this regular season is going to be wrapping up.
Is it hard to go hard for a couple of weeks, then have a little bit of a break during Christmas time, and then come back in January and okay, here's a real important part of your season?
It's a double-edged sword, because getting a break from wrestling is not a bad thing, but it can be, mentally, to get back into the grind of it. That can definitely be a challenge. If you got some momentum built, it can be, tough to get that momentum built back up mentally. But, wrestling's a rough sport. If you've got some nagging injuries and you want to take, if you need some time off, you can definitely do that. With Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve being on Wednesdays, there's probably not going to be many duels during the week over these next couple weeks. So I would imagine teams are probably going to take that time to heal up if they can. And I know there are even some teams that aren't wrestling in any tournaments after this coming weekend, the 20th. They're going to take time off until, I believe, January 3rd. So, it's like I said, could be good, could be, rough to get back into the game. But we've done it every year, and anybody that wrestles, they kind of know what's coming.
Coach, everyone does it differently. For Wellsville, what's your strategy on the Christmas? Like, how much do you guys get together over Christmas break? And when do you give them off? Do you give them off like 3 days for Christmas, 4 days for Christmas? When do you guys come back for practice and then get back in the wrestling room? What's your strategy on handling Christmas break?
I've over the years softened up on that. They get, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off for sure. And then I personally stopped scheduling over that Christmas week, that weekend, whatever it is, the 27th, the 28th, whatever. That weekend I don't schedule anymore, because life gets in the way. Family comes in, or people go out of town to visit family. And for me, I've got a lot of kids that ride the bus to school, and they come from school and walk to the wrestling room. And without that ride every day, if they live out of town, and mom and dad are working during the day, it can be tough to get them down to the wrestling room. The coaches have to coordinate and pick kids up. It just turns into a big, it's a bigger deal than I think a lot of people realize. Half of my kids are walkers and half of them ride the bus. So it turns into, it can be a logistical headache when the kids are off of school for 2 straight weeks. So I've backed off my schedule there because there are some kids there. Some days they can't get there. They can't get there for the match, and even sometimes they can't get there for practice. So we take those 2 weeks off to heal up, to work on things in the wrestling room. As far as what days, you get Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, and then it depends on how it falls during the week. The thing about this coming year is that second week, Christmas or New Year's Eve is Wednesday, New Year's Day is Thursday, and then we've got a tournament on Saturday. Usually, that Saturday is the way that it falls. It's the third is on a Saturday this year. Usually, it's during the week. So then you've got more time to make weight and get back into the room and to get back in the swing of things. So this year, I don't know how many days we're getting off on New Year's week.
I'm sure your kids are just on the edge of their seat, hoping for, come on, coach, give us a break. Someone that doesn't need a break is our next guest on Wrestling Wednesday. We are so happy to have her. We kind of promoted her at the beginning of the show, a sophomore from United that is kind of building her way up in that United program that is so good, so solid, has been so good for so long. It's from Hanoverton. We're going to the Eagles next. Taylor Simmons. Taylor,
hi, thank
welcome
you for
in.
having me.
You got it. So let's talk about first just being a part of this United program and trying to kind of find confidence early in your career. You've got it. What's it been like for you the last couple of years, just trying to make your own story in this already historic United Wrestling program?
Oh yeah, I mean it's awesome. I mean obviously there's been some big faces. We have Austin right now. We've had multiple very successful people in the past, and it's cool to be able to experience it. But then at the same time, I want this for myself. So it's really cool to just be around these high level people all the time and kind of get to make your own path. And it's definitely hard. I struggled a lot last year to find my confidence, but now that I've been around these people, it's giving me I can be like that too.
So, Taylor, you won that Spartan invite the first week of the season, right?
Yeah.
First place. Was that your first time being a champion in a regular season tournament?
Yeah, it was.
So why don't you tell us how that felt when you got to stay at the top of the podium?
Oh, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, I was waiting for that all season last year, and unfortunately it came short week after week. So, I mean, just opening the season, starting out undefeated, it's awesome.
That's got to be a major confidence boost. You work so hard for the season. There's so much anticipation, and you don't have to wait long. It's the first meet of the season. You get to win. What does that do for the rest of your year? How much confidence does that give you for the rest of the season coming up?
I mean, it definitely gave me a lot of confidence, especially some of the teams that were there. I know are going to be teams that I'm going to see week after week. So it was a really big confidence boost.
So you mentioned your teammates, and you mentioned Austin. She just finished 5th place at the Ironman tournament. That's one of the toughest tournaments in the country. She's been at the state tournament every year. She's been winning tournaments. What's it like to be in a room with her? Do you look up to her? Do you drill with her while you're in practice?
Yeah, I definitely do look up to her. It's really cool to have her in the room because it's kind of just getting to see this is one of the best people out there doing what I'm doing right now. Get to see how she's doing things. I try and take advantage of going live with her and stuff as much as I can because obviously if I want to get to that level, that's what I'm gonna have to do. So it's just really cool to see how she practices, how she plans, and how she trains.
This might be an obvious question, but is she the one that pushes you guys the most in practice and makes sure that this team is as good as it can be? Is she the one that's always kind of on you guys and making sure that you're doing all the things the right way?
She's definitely a big part of it, but I mean, my whole team is very good about just pushing each other, and my coaches especially are very good about just everybody wants the best for each other.
So every week I ask this question. Every good wrestler has a good drilling partner. Is there anybody else besides her that you go with? Do you have a go-to where when coach yells out, okay, let's start our drilling, and he starts throwing out moves? Do you have somebody you go to in the room?
I mean, it kind of just depends. I've been switching partners quite a bit recently. Obviously, Austin's a really good partner to have. I've actually been partners with my sister quite a bit recently. She just started. We have other just Mila, Haley. They're all really good partners to be with, and just people that I go with.
I think a lot of people know the physicality the wrestlers have to endure, but it's also a very mental game, especially when it's just you and your opponent on the mat and there's no one else really with you. What's your kind of mental approach to wrestling, and what kind of things keep you locked in mentally?
I mean, so this was actually like a very big weakness of mine last year. So I think it's more of just knowing that like I came short a lot last year, and I think a lot of it was because I had little to no confidence. So I think a lot of going into this year is like once you step on that mat, it's go time. You're not gonna let your like mental side of things get the best of you. Like you need to be stronger than that, and you also have to like just like I don't know. I just try and think this is what I want to do. So like I need to have the confidence, and a lot of it just comes from like training and stuff. Like it's just helped me. Like I've prepared myself pretty good, and a lot of it's just like I said last year. Like I came up short, and that's just like inspired me to like not let that happen again.
That's a great point, and I think you hit the nail on the head. So much about this sport, and I don't think it's appreciated enough, is mental.
Yeah.
And you say you did the difference. It sounds like anyway, the difference between last year and this year has a lot to do with just up here and how you're thinking of yourself. Not even
Yeah.
so much what you're thinking of the other people, but how you think and feel about yourself. And you said it. This is what I want to do. So if I'm out here doing what I want to do, I need to give it 100% and believe that I can get there. So you kind of hinted at it. You think that you're just trusting your training and what you're doing in the off season and in the practice room, and then you're going out there and just telling yourself, "Hey, I belong here. There's no reason I can't win this." Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. That's great.
So when we talk to wrestlers, we like to also ask them about, the meals they take. You just got the weigh in, you finally get the green light to eat whatever you want. What's your go-to for that?
Oh man, this sounds so bad, but definitely the first thing I like to go to is Sour Patch Kids. I don't know, I just need that sugar, but definitely after that, fruit, protein, just try and get my body back to feeling good and hydrate. It's a big one.
Nothing wrong with Sour Patch Kids, man. Do you have a favorite
No, and
flavor?
Blue raspberry.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, Anthony, if we've had that we've had them mentioned, but as the go-to,
The
I don't
go-to,
know
like
that
gotta
one
have the
has
Sour
been
Patch.
Yeah.
might be the
Yep.
first one.
Let's go.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your coaches, the coaching staff that you have in the room, and when you're out there wrestling on the weekends? Tell us how your coaches get you mentally prepared and what it is that you think they do that makes you guys successful as a team.
My coaches definitely just like want what's best for us, and I'm so grateful for them because they do a very good job of the mental preparation. Um, our head coach is very, very good with just like giving us the talk before and after practice, like put in the work and you'll get results. And he's just very good at like mentally preparing us. But then on the weekends, like you said, they're very good about just do what you need to do. If that's like isolating yourself or if that's sitting there watching other people wrestle, just like do what you need to do. And they're always there, like, are you ready? Are you good? Like, and if not, they'll try and like help you. They're very good about it, and I'm very grateful to have them.
So wrestling is a sport on the girls' side that is newly sanctioned by the OHSA. We're seeing more and more people come out for it. So for you, why was wrestling something that you fell into? Why was it something that you wanted to work at so much? What got you into this sport?
I It was very random. My mom kind of just asked me if I wanted to try it, and I was like, sure, not really thinking she was being serious, but she was. And so I started my 8th grade year, and I don't know, I just fell in love with it instantly. Unfortunately, I got hurt and I was out most of my 8th grade year, but I think that just like sitting there and watching it all year long was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be good at. What can I do to make sure like next year it's literally just go.
So I looked up some of the results from last year. You were a district qualifier, and you didn't get to the state tournament. I'm sure that's one of your goals. But other than that, what else do you have goals for yourself, not only this year, but as you go and finish your high school career?
Yeah, I would definitely like to see a trip to Columbus this year, and if at all possible, get on the podium. I want to try and stay like as close to the top of the podium as possible at these local tournaments and just these tournaments we're going to week after week. I know we're gonna run into some very good teams, but the goal is to just try and beat who I can beat. Worry about it one match at a time. I don't know. I told my dad at the beginning of the season that I wanted to try and stay under 10 losses all year. And so that's kind of like something I've had in the back of my head. Obviously, I don't want to try and lose it all, but try and stay under 10 losses is a very big goal for me.
You're a multiple sport athlete at United. You cheerlead and you also run track in the spring. What's it like kind of balancing all that and going from one sport to the next and having to flip the mental switch from cheer to wrestling to track?
I mean, it's busy, but it's not really a big switch from like cheer going into wrestling or track. And I mean, wrestling and track kind of, like, just in my mind, they kind of go like hand in hand, just like with the conditioning. Like, they're both, the things that I'm doing at both are like helping me for the other. So it's just like kind of flipping the switch, and it's just like, okay, this is done, this is over now. But I try to keep training for them both as much as possible throughout the year. So that way it's not like, okay, wrestling's over, now I need to start from scratch for track again, or vice versa.
Yeah, you know, United kind of set the trail for girls wrestling in the local area. They've always had great numbers. You know, from day one, they've been able to get a lot of girls interested and come out. Have you become an advocate for this sport at your school? And what do you think it is about United girls wrestling that makes it so popular?
I definitely just think like at the very beginning, even before I started, there was a pretty decent sized team and they've just always been successful. So I think just seeing that other people were like, hey, this might be something I want to do. And like I said before, my teammates are all very like encouraging and they only want what's best for each other and pushing each other. So I think it's just been like a very welcoming environment and people just give it a shot and they like it. So
If you're trying to get one of your teams to come, one of your friends, I should say, to come on the team, what's your selling point? What are some things that you're saying? Hey, this is what's good about wrestling. This is what you'll love about it.
Well, definitely a famous quote, after you wrestle, everything else is easy. But I don't know, just like, I don't know. I think it's like something no other sport compares to, because I mean, it's just you and what you're physically capable of.
That's a great quote. That's one that I think every wrestler knows and has heard once or twice in their life. So, do you have any rivals on the mat? Do you have somebody that you know when you see them, they're going to push you, and you know, maybe you go back and forth with wins with each other? Is there anybody like that out on this scene that you know every week, or when you know they're going to be there, that you know sometime I'm going to have to wrestle them?
Definitely last year, my biggest rival was a girl from Austin Town. We went back and forth. I think overall the season, I beat her twice. She beat me twice. She did graduate last year though, so I don't have her around anymore. But um, I wrestled a girl from Alliance for my finals match at Boardman, and she was very tough. I know I'm gonna have to go against her again. We have a duel with Alliance. We go to Top Gun at Alliance, so I definitely know I'm gonna see her again, and she's gonna be a very tough person to go against time and time again.
Do you feel like that pushed you to make you better when you know that you've got somebody you know you're back and forth, back and forth? I got to bring my A game every week.
Oh yeah, for sure, because you don't want to lose to them.
All right, so my final question for you as we kind of wrap this up: who are some of the role models that you have, the people that kind of you go to for advice, the people that kind of get you through the tough times that wrestling can bring? Like you said, if you get through wrestling, everything else is easy. So it's a hard sport. There's a lot of hard days. Who are the people that get you through it?
Definitely just like my family I look to for motivation. My sister and brother both wrestle too, so it's kind of good to have that in common with them. Just my teammates and my coaches have always been like a very good rock to have. They push me and they're always helping me and always just trying to get better.
All right, you, your sister, and your brother are in a round robin. Who comes out on top?
Oh man, for sure.
Okay,
That's
good.
quick. I like the confidence. Let's go. Taylor, we end these player profiles the same way every time. We want to give you the chance to kind of take the limelight off yourself and shine on the people in your life that do mean the most to you. So I want to give you as much time as you want to kind of give some thank yous and shout outs to your supporters and the people that you know that you wouldn't be where you are without.
Okay. So definitely both. So our coach Tyler, he's definitely always been there for me and has just from like day one, he's always been there. Like, he is very good at explaining stuff in detail and just like understanding what I'm asking, even when I don't always ask it in the best way. And yeah, he's always been a good person. My coach Coach Bell, he's actually the junior high coach, but he's always at high school stuff. He did a very good job last year at like sitting me down, and like he saw like my confidence was really starting to get the best of me. So he did everything in his power to try and help me to get so that doesn't happen again. Just like my teammates in general, they've been amazing to be around. Like Austin's constant, like it's just cool to have somebody in the room that's like, this is what I want to be, and everybody's just constantly pushing each other. I mean, we're all very close. Like it's just cool to have them around. Just my siblings in general, they always just push me to work harder, and my friends have always been there for support. My mom and my dad, they've just always been there for support and always been there for me.
Taylor, we want to thank you so much for coming on, talking to us about this program, about your season, about your career. We wish you the best of luck in the rest of the season. We can't wait to see what you do, and we can't wait to see what this team does, because United is in for something special, I think, when it comes to boys and girls wrestling. You both are absolutely killing it so far early on, and we can't wait to see what else you do.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you for having me.
Taylor Simmons from United coming on, and not the last time we're going to talk to United Wrestling, I don't think. I think we have some more on the horizon, because they have a lot of good wrestlers on both sides of the mat. So can't wait to see what that program does the rest of the year.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what I noticed from that is it seems like she's got the mental part of the sport down. And when you see a kid get there to that point where they start believing in themselves, and they're not second guessing whether they should be on the mat, whether or not they can or should win this match, that's when you see such a huge step taken in the right direction. And it sounds like she's there. And it's got to be exciting for her coaches to see her mentally take that step, because it sounds like she's put in the work. It sounds like she's done the things she needs to do to know the sport, and to know what to do in a match. But believing in it and putting it all together mentally is such a big part of the sport. I'm sure her coaches are ecstatic to see where she can go. And I can guarantee you, just from talking to her, that she's going to look totally different on the mat whenever the coaches from other teams see her. Their coaches are probably going to get, her coaches are going to get some compliments on, wow, what a big step she's taken.
And don't let it go by the wayside that really, in reality, it's just her second year wrestling, because she said she started in 8th grade but had to miss most of it because of an injury. So, you talk about 8th grade, missed most of it, just had to watch, then 9th grade, sophomore. So just second full year of being able to wrestle. Pretty impressive. I don't know if a lot of people would be able to say second year I go out and win the first tournament in Boardman, which is going to be a big tournament with a lot of big teams, big names in it. So pretty dang impressive that she's been able to catch on so quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Usually it's the third year whenever you see a kid take a step, a big step to putting things together. This is, if this is her second full season, but her third season in the sport, she's getting where she needs to be mentally. The moves are coming natural, and congrats to her for getting that first win. And it seemed like it really, that first tournament victory, championship, it seemed like that meant a lot to her. And you can really build some momentum like that. You come out and do well in the first tournament. I've seen that carry kids, all the way through the season. They needed that one thing to kind of hold on to get them to the next level.
As a coach, how excited does it make you to have someone that's a little bit ahead of schedule when you think about, okay, the average is like that third year in wrestling when you really hit your stride, but all of a sudden, okay, this is your second full year. You already seem like you're kind of getting it. So now third year might be even ahead of schedule. How exciting is it to kind of coach someone that gets ahead of schedule a little bit, and that you have a window of something special happening when it comes to year 3 and year 4?
Oh, it's great. It's a great feeling, because the sky's the limit. If they pick it up that quick, if the sport comes natural like that, you can as a coach, you can see it, and it really, it's so fun to watch a kid like that who picks it up easy. It makes your job easier. It makes the other kids in the room get excited, and it doesn't happen very often. It's not a sport. We've talked about this every year. It's like, take somebody that's never picked up a golf club before and take them golfing. That's kind of how it is with the sport. You really need time to just learn how the sport works, and how the positions you need to put your body in, and all of these things. So to get a kid that picks it up easy and quick doesn't happen very often, but man, is it exciting when they do.
What I think people need to understand too, it's not like a sport like basketball, maybe where you can just pick up and go play a pickup game, and maybe you're never someone that plays basketball, but you can shoot and you have the speed, so you can kind of hold your own on the court on a pickup game. Like wrestling is such a fundamental and technique oriented sport. It's not just, hey, I'm strong, so I can go wrestle for a little bit, and it's not your backyard, living room wrestling with your brother. Like if you are not technically sound, you will be exposed pretty quick.
Oh, absolutely, you will.
No matter how strong you are.
Yeah, first year kids, they're first thing they want to do if they're in the top position, they lock their hands and they get technical violations for that. And there's just a million different rules, and the rules have gotten more strict as time goes on because they're taking anything that could be potentially dangerous out of the sport, and for good reason. But those are the things that you naturally tend to go to: a headlock without having an arm, your hands locked around the body when you're in the top position, all of these little things like that. Hey, I need a break. Hold on. Nah, you can't do that in a match.
Wait, timeout.
Yeah, no timeout, stuff like that. It's definitely a different. It's a lot different than anything you've ever experienced. And like I said, when you could pick it up quick, it just means that your ceiling is that much higher.
All right, Gary, we're winding down to the end of the show. What we do at the end of every show, we're going to do at the end of Wrestling Wednesdays too, because we have to kind of we have to pay the bills a little bit. We have to give our sponsors some shout outs, and it's Joe Dickey Electric. Everything electrical. Find them at dickeyelectric.com. They sponsor the segment at the end of the show called What's Your Spark? If you've watched the show, it's when we kind of give a thing that we've seen that we like, maybe on the day or on the week, or maybe it's a positive, maybe it's a negative, maybe it's something we want to vent about. The spark can be whatever you want it to be. So here is the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? All right, Gary, what's your spark today? What's kind of gotten you into either a good mood or a mood to vent today?
I don't have anything for the day, but I definitely have something that I definitely don't mind talking about. At Daw Elementary School here in Wellsville, a couple of days a week, they allow the public to come in and read to the elementary students. I just want to give a shout out to the staff there at Daw, our principal in that building, and in the program itself. It was a great thing. I got to go in and do that a couple of weeks ago, to sit down and I got to read a book with one of the elementary kids in the school district. I love that I can do that here in my community, and I can get some one-on-one time with the kids in the community. I think it's a great thing that really every community should look into, because you've got people around who want to be involved and want to do things for the kids. That's such an easy thing to do. It's early in the morning before school starts, and you'd be shocked at how many kids are in there waiting for someone to come in, sit down with them, and read a book with them. I had a great time doing it, and I definitely will be back. So that's my spark for the day.
My spark today, it's my birthday. I'm not saying that because I want the happy birthdays or anything like that, but Facebook has a cool thing where you can set up a fundraiser for your birthday. So if you want to, I have one on my Facebook. I do it every year for Rachel's Challenge. It is the nonprofit that means the most to me, because Rachel's Challenge came into South Range when I was in high school, gave me a little bit of a attitude and smack in the back of the head that I think some kids need every now and then. A little bit of, Rachel's Challenge is someone that comes to the schools. It tells the story of Rachel Scott, who was the first victim of the Columbine shooting in 1999, but she had a bunch of journals and a bunch of writings that talked about kindness and spreading joy throughout the school. Which is what they strive to do with her story. So if you want to, go to my Facebook and give a little bit of a donation to their nonprofit, even if it's just $1, that would be in lieu of a present for me. So that's what I want for my birthday, for support to them for that nonprofit organization. So if you want to, head over and do that, and enjoy the day, everybody. That's my spark. Enjoy the day. It's a good day out there. It's a little bit warmer than it has been. Still cold, but you got to take the good where you can get it. Get out there, support some local athletes tonight. We have plenty of basketball on the network, both boys and girls, on a Wednesday. When we get to wrestling, I want to go in the spreadsheet real quick and see where our next wrestling broadcast will be or what we have on our schedule coming up. Let me get to the right date because I was not on this week. Last time I went to the spreadsheet. That's not it either. Hold the phone, Anthony Slow. All right, we have swimming tonight, which isn't wrestling, but swimming is something that we don't get all the time. Rob Johnson will be in Louisville for their swim meet with Canton Central Catholic. Tomorrow we do have wrestling on the network. Conneaut is broadcasting their own wrestling matchup with Edgewood, so we get the Spartans on. There's a girls wrestling with Conneaut as well, going on at 6 o'clock at Conneaut over the weekend. We do have wrestling on the schedule. It won't be broadcasted, but East Palestine, Garfield, Grand Valley, Jackson Mountain United, and Wellsville, Gary, will be at Waterloo for that T3 Classic. We'll also have Girard, Poland, and Southern at Beaver Local. Latonia going to Hubbard on Saturday as well. So some big things going down on the wrestling scene over the weekend. And I believe that's it. I believe that's what we got for you. Well, actually, I stand corrected. Conneaut also in action tonight on the network at 6 o'clock against Harbor Creek. Latonia at Lakeview tonight. Beaver Local at Boardman tonight in a duel. And Girard at Pymatuning Valley tonight in a duel on boys wrestling for that. So that's what we have on our schedule. I'm sure there's more going on as well. So support wrestlers, support wrestling, both sides. Get out there and watch it on YSN when it's on. It's on tonight and tomorrow for wrestling from Conneaut. Gary, thank you so much for coming on every week. And we will see you back in the new year. January 7th will be our next Wrestling Wednesday as we take the holiday break after tomorrow's show on YSN Live. We'll be better tomorrow. We always are. We always will be. We always strive to be. Me and DJ will be back here for tomorrow's one last YSN Live before the end of December. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be better tomorrow. Gary, thanks again for coming on, and thank you all for coming and joining us today. May the sports be with you, everyone. That's a wrap.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.